Welcome to another episode of YLG Canada Immigration Podcast, where all your immigration questions will be answered by an experienced immigration lawyer. My name is Ryan, and today we're talking about the Startup Visa Program. Now it's time to welcome Afshin Yazdani. Thank you for joining us on yet another Friday.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
The Startup Visa sounds like a lot of work, huh?
It can be tough, especially because there is an overwhelming amount of information out there on the internet, which is not helping at all. And that's why we are here, right?
Most certainly. So let's get it started then. Here are some of the questions our listeners posted on our Instagram page and website. Let's just start with the basics. What's the Startup Visa Program?
Well, to answer the question, the Startup Visa is designed to attract innovative foreign entrepreneurs who would contribute to the new and innovation needs of Canadian economy, and definitely facilitate entry of the innovative entrepreneurs who would actively pursue business venture in Canada. Well, the IRCC Immigration Office defines innovation as the creation of a new or significantly improved product or process and doing business differently.
So it's all about creativity, right?
Yeah, that's right. Because sometimes my client asking me, is it has to be absolutely new? I would say no, because the definition says it can be new or significantly improve or even different.
Yeah, so sometimes you don't really need to start from scratch, right?
That's right.
You can build up upon something that already exists, but try to perfect it. The Startup Visa, is this something new? What is it all about?
Startup Visa program is something from 2013, so it's not new at all. But the thing is, program from 2013 to 2016, about like 3 years, got only 113 application for that period of 3 years.
That's shockingly low.
Yeah, that's why. And then they changed. In June 2016, there was some other amendment to this program. And then also in April 2018 was another amendment. They introduced some significant changes for processing under a Startup Visa program. And as you can see now, because of these changes, the Startup Visa program somehow get introduced to the public, because before that, few lawyers or immigration consultants knew about the program, but all of them, they knew this is like a failed program. And then suddenly in 2018, somehow after those changes, the program came to more attention of...
Yeah, it grew more popular, right?
Yeah, that's right.
What are your projections for the future?
As I can see now, because we have like 23 venture capital funds, 9 angel investors group now, and also 29 business incubators, especially about those guys like business incubators in Canada. The program, what I can see, it's growing. I mean, somehow there is one restriction, and that is kind of operation manual for a startup business class, which published by IRCC. It says no more than 2,750 application per year.
Oh, there is a cap. Okay.
Yeah, there is a cap. That's one of the thing. And more than this, there is something they call peer review panel, which somehow investigate and do some due diligences to figure out the letter of support, the commitment certificate, which is one of the requirements for this program, has to be real. And
there is more policing going on.
Yeah, exactly. So they put that kind of committee or a panel to review the whole thing. So these are like a main restriction. Other than this, I I think startup visa program, it's very unique, and it help Canada economy by welcoming to innovations and somehow change the whole industry.
You are listening to YLG Podcast with Afshin Yazdani, exploring the latest news, tips, and strategies about immigration to Canada.
The most common question, obviously, is about who qualifies.
Basically, to be eligible for startup visa program, Ryan, you must have a qualifying business. You must get a letter of support from a designated organization, and then you must meet the language requirement, and then you must bring enough money to set up.
Okay, let's dig in. There seems to be a lot going on in here. What do you mean by qualifying business?
Qualifying business has two different meaning at two different stages. When you apply, and then let's say you get your letter of support from a designated organization, and then when you have that letter of support or a commitment, at that time qualifying business has a meaning, which is you must have at least 10% or more of the voting right of the corporation who has the IP or intellectual property of the innovation idea. By saying that, in each startup application, maximum up to 5 people can apply, right? So the idea is there is a team like 4 or 5 people, and they have innovative idea, and then they want to come to Canada under a startup visa program. To do that, these team members must own the idea by having 10% or more of the voting share of the company, which the company owns the idea. At the time you get letter of support means you already have the idea, everything is fine, and then you apply to the designated organization, and then you get the letter of support, and it's not just you, because most probably you have some other partners, right? So how we can do this legally, how we can structure this is structure is registering a business in Canada or in overseas, like incorporating business, and each partner having share of the corporation. The law says you have to, among others, own at least 10% of the voting share of that company.
So one of the qualification requirements is having a qualifying business. What does that mean?
Well, as you recall, to be eligible for startup visa, there are 4 eligibility requirements, right? What do you know about business? Business can be incorporated, like you're making a company, establishing a company, and also you can be on a partnership or joint venture or any other type of business structure. What it says here in CIC website, it says having qualifying business has a certain definition, which is somehow the conclusion has to be corporation, because it asks for voting rights and the shareholders, and we don't have these things inside the partnership or not incorporated businesses.
Okay, very straightforward. It needs to be an incorporation, and you need to have or hold voting rights to be eligible.
To be more specific about this part, again, there are 2 different meanings of having a qualifying business. A qualifying business means you create a business that meets the following condition. Okay, the condition at the time you get the commitment from designated organization, which I explained before. Who are these designated organization? I mentioned venture capital, angel investors, and business owners. Yeah. So at the time you get a commitment from one of those organizations, each applicant must hold at least 10% of the voting right which is somehow you must have at least 10% ownership of the company. But this company has to be established in Canada right from the beginning? No. But it has to be incorporated. So, for example, you are coming from India, then you have 4 other partners. You and your 4 other partners must have incorporated business in India. Okay, and each of you must at least have 10%. So if you calculate each have 10% and you are 5, that will be 50%. What about the rest? About the rest, there are some other consideration. For example, if you go to angel investors or venture capitals or some others to ask for the money to fund your project, then most probably they ask you for the equity of the company. Have you seen Shark Tank?
Yes, I have.
It's exactly the same idea. Someone come to my office, not my office, to the designated organization office, and say, okay, I have this innovative idea and I have the whole thing. Can you help? And they say, yep, I'm going to help you, but I need 50% or 35% of the equity of your business.
So basically, it's you pitch your ideas, you need to persuade them so that they buy your idea, and it's your idea and their money. That's all what it is about, right?
To be honest, it depends on what type of designated organization supporting you. For angel investors and for venture capitals, yes. But for incubators, no. Incubators, they don't care about the equity and they don't give you money, but they support you by showing you how to do business in Canada.
Okay.
Actually, they charge you for this usually. For example, say, okay, this is my service, and I'm giving you an office, for example, shared office, and I'm giving you some mentors, and they can help you, some advisors, and then this is my fee. And that's another thing. So let me back to the definition of having a qualifying business.
Sure.
As you recall, I said at the time you get the commitment or letter of support has the definition, and I explained. But there is another meaning for qualifying business at the time the applicant receive a PR. Permanent residency in Canada. At that time, it's not just about the voting right or the ownership of the business. You must provide active and ongoing management of this business from within Canada. So it's not just you get the PR and then
leave the country
and then leave the country and say, okay, I have the PR. No. It doesn't work like that.
You need to play an active role in the corporation.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a part people sometimes confuse. Usually from my client from Iran, from the UAE, from Middle East, they are thinking, okay, the idea is everything. They can meet the requirement, but the point is they don't want to being an active and someone who's providing ongoing management to the business in Canada, and which is making very difficult because PR can be revoked.
Good to know. Thanks for listening to another episode of YLG Canada Immigration Podcast with Afshin Yazdani. You can get more information on immigration to Canada from ylgpc.ca. We're trying to make this show more interactive, so please feel free to send us your questions to podcast@ylgpc.ca. Take care.